Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome viewers once again to my channel. Those of you, sorry about that. Those of you that are existing subscribers, you are most welcome. Those of you that are new, you are of course also most welcome. So I am almost at the end of the journeys of what I call my area. So there are two more lanes to cover in my area because it all belongs to me. So firstly, if you look in that direction where you can see that mansion-like building, to the right of that is Hopwood Lane. That is going to be our journey today. But today I'm stood on an area called Bull Green. So we have been here previously, so it's a very good position to highlight the journey that we have made. So we've been from Beacon Hill into town, and then this is Bull Green. If we go this way, then that takes you towards the hospital and Huddersfield. So, and of course, and then turning left from there, that is where the Broad Street Plaza was, and if we carry on further, it is the start of the carriageway, which, as I've been trying to highlight, has been the biggest change in Halifax for me. So behind this road is the rest of town, and for me, like I say, all of this, and then going up this way. So to the left of us where this white car is going, sorry, it's turning now, so not that is, so where both of these are going up Hopwood Lane. But if they were to go straight, that would be King Cross. And of course in the background you can see the carriageway as well. So just to remind you, there's some very, very nice period buildings. We have the Lewins pub here, which I think dates back to the 17th century. So at that time, this was one of the few buildings in the area. And over there is the Plummet, which again is a very old hotel cum pub. Okay, so just pan around to show you the journey that we have made. So this road joins on to Fountain Street and Horton Street, and then it's railway station. So this is what I call the top end of town, and we are sort of coming towards the end of my area, which is composed of two political wards really. One is the town ward, and the other is I think it's called St John's. So we have two councillors, and these are the areas that I've tried to cover in my video over the last 7 months or so. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and meet you further up. So we're starting our journey at the bottom of Hopwood Lane, and what you see there is a very impressive building. As you can see, it's known as Hopwood Hall, and for a long time it was what's known as legal chambers. So there was a number of solicitors, that was the use in our time, and similar buildings over here. And there's a building next to this that's been there for a long time. Apparently that was created at the end of the Second World War, and it belongs to the British Legion, who of course look after war heroes, whether it's from the Second World War right up to present day. So I'll just pan around so that you see where Hopwood Lane is in relation to the others. But as I say, I have been here before, so you should be able to recognize the area. So what we have up there is King Cross Road, and of course we've been right up there, and you can see, catch the dual carriageway there, and along the way there are various iconic buildings. For those that know Halifax, we have the Courier building there. So as I said, this area has undergone a lot of change. There were different buildings further down, and especially where the carriageway is. I'll just go across so that you get another better shot. So you see another building on this side. That's a listed building that dates back from the 18th century, as does Hopwood Hall. So this used to belong to another rich family that lived in the area. In fact, there are a number of rich families that lived along this lane, and I shall try to show you all of the streets that are named after them. So the Hopwoods were very famous, and they were sort of top barristers of their time, and no doubt they set up their chambers in this building here. But the other thing that this building is famous for is that one of Anne Lister's friends used to live here. Today it has been turned into bedsits and apartments, so perhaps not in its original grand order, a little bit overgrown, but the windows and the entrance is in a magnificent state, really. So that's the journey that we're going to be making, and I'll stop along the way at various points. So I'm just a little bit further up. So as you can see, the building down there used to extend to where the scaffolding is, and then these buildings date back to the 17th and 18th century, and at one time, of course, they belonged to workers or weavers, I think they were, and the rest of this has changed to no end from my childhood. So this is Boyne Street. We have been here before. There are two churches along the way. I think one's a Kingdom Hall Jehovah's Witness, and the other is another evangelical church. So the next lane, of course, is Lister Lane, and beyond that is Gibbet Street. So areas that I have covered. So this complex with the chipped buildings is, I think it's known as the Brunswick area, Brunswick buildings. So all of this was very different in my childhood. Lots of small terraced houses and warehouses for various types of businesses. So as I say, we had lots of friends who lived down here. Okay, so I shall stop a bit further on. So just a little bit further up. So I'm trying to illustrate how big this area is. So as you can see, these flats extend right over there beyond these trees. So we call this the Brunswick area, and the various houses are called Brunswick Drive and Brunswick Street, etc. So as you can see, the carriageway is here. So the joining point for King Cross is over there. It gets elevated once it's on Hopwood Lane. Then we start to go further and further down, and in my time there was a lot of excavation work, and where it lowers down there, first of all it is Lister Lane, and then further on, of course, it is Gibbet Street, and then the other areas such as Pelham Lane, etc. So this is the King Cross joining area of the carriageway. So we're going to be going further and further up Hopwood Lane, which is a journey of about almost 2 miles, I think, and I shall be stopping again at the buildings that I am familiar with. So again, this street is called Hanover Street, and it used to house various large buildings. I do remember a large mansion being here, and I think that also used to belong to the Hopwood family. So as I said, there are various families that owned land and property and businesses along this road. The Hopwoods, the Crossleys, the Cravens, the Wallaces, and various buildings have been named after them. So as you can see, I am going underneath the carriageway. So above us is the Burdock Way, and down here is Hopwood Lane. So what you see here is the Elsie Whitley Centre, and beyond that is the Volvo garage that I've been describing when we were in our car journeys. So this one is housed on Hopwood Lane, and that is actually Lister Lane. So in our time, this used to be a very, very large textile factory. They used to produce very high quality blouses, and they were very, very famous. And the proprietor or the designer or the person who started it was one Elsie Whitley. So obviously that business declined, and today there are various modern industries, and they are supported by what is known as the Halifax Opportunities Trust, which is a council run organisation and supports the various businesses, many of which of course are very modern IT related. So this house used to belong to a number of families that we used to know back in the 70s, and then it actually got turned into a large well, I can only be described as a sales place for second-hand goods, and I think it belongs to the Halifax Opportunities Trust. And as I say, on this side there used to be lots of housing that has to be knocked down for the carriageway, and also the creation of the side road on King Cross. So I'm on the other side of the Elsie Whitley building now, viewers, just to illustrate to you how it relates to the other area. So through there, I don't know whether you can make it out, at the far end is St Mary's Church, where we saw the wedding in a previous video, and of course just where that gap is, it is Lister Lane, and the lane at the end is Gibbet Street. So on this side it is housed on what's known as New Bond Street, and for those of you that are familiar, you see a very modern business there called WeBuyAnyCar.com. So this is their headquarters, but as I say, in addition to that, there are many other small businesses such as accountants and IT companies. So where you see this granary, it's all been landscaped, and like I say, in our time it housed many houses, and we had many good friends that lived there. This is now a private house, but at one time it was a very famous pub. On this side we see another iconic building, Today, as you can see, it's known as the Halifax Catholic Memorial Club, but in my time it was known as the Constitutional Club again for activities such as social gatherings and snooker. Okay, so I'll pause there and then go further. So as you can see to the left of us, we are getting to the built-up area that survived all the demolition. So to start off with, we see lots of terraced properties, and I am going to go inside one of them because it still has the house of a famous family known as the Aked family, Aked is how it's spelled, and they used to be very large timber merchants. So I've just stopped a little bit further up from the Irish club and the pub on the opposite side. I think it used to belong to the rugby club, but I'm not sure. There certainly used to be a lot of rugby fans inside in my youth. So as you can see, there are, a number of built-up terraces that are back to back, and they extend right through to the other side. So if I can show you, and the other side, of course, is the carriageway going. You can see the cars whizzing there in the background. That, of course, is the carriageway, or the Burdock Way as we call it. And then on this side there is a street called West Grove Terrace, which is quite famous because the founder of the Salvation Army, William Booth, his family lived in one of these houses. I think it was number 3, but I'm not sure. So as you can see, this road sort of comes to a halt, but in my time it didn't. It used to go right through. On this side, what we see, a building that's used by this business. It used to be a Sunday school, and at the back of it there used to be a very large church which got knocked down. So looking further up, if you've watched my previous videos, you will know that that is Park Road and People's Park and Sir Francis Crossley's almshouses. So I'll stop there briefly because I have shown them in previous videos, but I'm just going to go further up a little bit to the next road because that houses, that is Akeds Road, and that houses Akeds mansion or Aked house. So I'm on the next road up now, viewers, from where I was previously, and this is Road Street. So as you can see, it extends right to the other end where that white car is, and that of course is Gibbet Street. And just as we enter, if you remember, is our wonderful Gosia Masjid, and then there is a sort of a gap there. That of course is Lister Lane, and then what you see here is some splendid large Victorian houses. Most of them are residential now, but in our time they used to be dental practices, and I actually worked in a building. Well, it started off here and then they got other properties at the other side. It was a law centre. So on this side it is Road Street, and it goes right through on the other side, and this is Akeds Road. So I'm going to go on to Akeds Road and show you what is known as Akeds House. And of course in its time Mr. Aked used to live there, and it's quite a large mansion. And as I say, he made his money in the timber, and at the end of that of course is the carriageway. So this, viewers, is known as Aked's house, Aked's mansion, come Akeds Yard, and in the 18th century these people had a very large timber business on here, and I'm not really sure whether these houses were built at that time, but obviously subsequently they were built. They are small back-to-back Victorian houses that obviously housed the workers that worked in the mills that are around. I think this was part of their empire as well. So from this building to the end of that building is known as Akeds Yard or Akeds Mansion. And beyond that, where once again you can see the traffic rushing around, is the carriageway. But this is really a magnificent building, and it is a listed building once again as well. On the other side of Akeds Road you can see this building, which is used as a church and also as a multicultural activity centre. That part used to be part of the church as well, but it's been used for other purposes. You know, it's been a large insurance company as well, but now it is a private residence. So this part of it is a church and a council activity centre. So I've just stopped a little bit further up, viewers. So where you see that whitish sign, that is Akeds Road, and that of course is an insurance company now. So then we've got some various businesses and residential areas, and of course this should be recognised, that is Park Road. And then on this side we have People's Park, and then panning this way, this road is called Milton Place. So as you can see, splendid large Victorian houses, and on the other side is Hamden Place. So where the gap is, that is Lister Lane, and where you can see that reddish area, that is Gibbet Street. So just panning my way further up, so we're going to go further up Hopwood Lane. So again you can see how far the park extends, and where that red vehicle has just passed, that of course is Francis Street. Just going a little bit, just come a little bit further. So this is Margaret Street, and this is the wonderful Sir Francis Crossley's almshouses. This is the back of Milton Street. So as you can see, really large, beautiful houses, and at the back is Motherly Close and the other streets, and of course the Jamia Masjid is there. And once again the sign that you see there is for Crossley House. It used to be known as Bellevue House, and of course it was the residence of the Crossley family. So I've walked a little further up from where I was previously. I walked from down there, and this of course is Crossley House, or Bellevue as it used to be known as in my time. So we are further up Hopwood Lane. There's another entrance to People's Park, and we are edging towards the next street, which is Francis Street. So I'm now further up, viewers, on the corner of Hopwood Lane, which is here, and extends right up to there. So this street is called Francis Street. We have been here before, so if I show you the journey that we've made previously, so at the far end, as I keep reminding you, is Gibbet Street, and then halfway is Lister Lane, and of course we have visited Shah Sab's Masjid on that side. And I show you this building again once more. This of course belonged to the Crossleys, or they helped to build this church. So just looking at Francis Street once more. As you can see on this corner we have the church, which in my time used to be called Park United Reformed Church. So the areas that we've looked at so far, most of the land has belonged to the Hopwoods, the Crossleys and the Aked family. So I'm about to introduce you to a new family or another landowner, and that family is called the Craven family, and this mansion that you see there used to belong to them, and there are a number of properties that are named after the Craven family. So what you see here is the main building of Calderdale College now. So it has two buildings, one on this side and the big tower on that side. And as I did remind you that when I was at college there was a building here, and that's where I studied. So the other thing that you should be able to see is there are some houses right at the back, and I will be eventually going there. Those houses are called Park View. So if you can imagine that there wasn't a building here or here, then of course those houses would have had a magnificent view of the park, People's Park, which is just there. But of course these buildings started to be built. As I say, this in my time used to be a grammar school, a girls' grammar school, and then, as I say, a lot of these buildings up there belong to the Craven family, and I'll go up and show you. So I'm a little bit further up now. This little road here takes us through onto Lister Lane. So what you see there is the top of Lister Lane, and then further up here you see more wonderful Victorian houses. That one is called Park Terrace, and this one is called Craven Place. So to the best of my knowledge, if it's got the name Park or one of the Crossley's members' names, then that belonged to the Crossleys, and of course the other names speak for themselves, so this belonged to the Craven family. So as you can see, after this there is a boundary wall which obviously starts further down there. So it goes right here and it extends right to the top, and that's the point that I'm going to go to. And this of course was the boundary wall of the school, or the college as it is now. So the building you see there is called Craven Place, that's called Park Terrace, and all these lands belong to either the Craven family or the Crossley family. So I've just stopped a little bit further up to show you the fronts of these wonderful buildings. So as you can see, I don't know whether you can read that from here, that is actually called Craven Edge, and at one time it housed members of the Craven family. So this is Park Terrace. I'll go on the other side so that you can see how splendid these houses are. So just like Park Road, this is Park Terrace, and it's got splendid houses. As you can see, they're wonderful garden fronts, and then parking space on this side, no doubt used for horses and carriages in their heyday. Okay viewers, if you remember, I was on the other side previously, and there were some orange coloured buildings, and you can just make them out because where that green roof is. So what I'm trying to say is that that complex and the whole of this complex, I will go further up to illustrate it a bit further, used to belong to the Pratt Bernard Company. So the whole of this was their workshop, and over there were warehouses and dispatch areas. So at one time you used to be able to come through, but then they built that boundary wall there, or cutting off wall as I as I call it. So as you can see, this has got a modern use now as a supermarket, and then up there there's new uses of the Pratt Bernard building. So I will go a bit further up to show you, but the whole of this used to belong to the Pratt Bernard engineering company, which is the company that my brother used to work for. So I've just stopped on here, viewers, so that you get an idea of the complex once again. So I think where it says Tyre World, that's always been a garage. That used to be a retail unit. But from this MOT station to this, going right back to Gibbet Street, along that street which is called Clarendon Place, it used to be Pratt Bernard's. So as you can see, there's modern businesses on here. So the other thing that I wanted to illustrate was this area here. The whole of this used to be part of the grammar schools, and I spent many a happy hour playing in these fields. So I'm going to go halfway just to show you, because it's changed radically, of course. So I've come to the middle of this street, viewers, which is known as Park View. So it starts over there on Hopwood Lane and it extends right over there. It is actually a cul-de-sac, and the whole of this used to be grassed area, and it used to slope sort of downwards. So we used to play cricket on here, and over there used to be some tennis courts. You can still catch some of the original building there of the grammar school, but of course it has changed. So as you can see, this is a private sort of walkway, and all of this used to be part of the grammar school. Very untidy now. In our time it was very well looked after, but it seems this is the boundary wall now, and there's a lot of activity, as you can see, on a Sunday, but it now belongs to the college and is extensively used by the community and the professional sports of rugby and of course football. So I'm just a little bit further up again, viewers, and this is the other side of the street called Walnut Street. So where you saw that car just going past, that is Gibbet Street, and you see the sign there for a timber merchants. And then if I cross the road, then there is the Jewson sign there. Remember, all of that used to belong to the Crossley family. There was a large warehouse there. So just spanning on this side, you can see again this side of Park View, and on this side, I don't know whether you can make that out, that says Frank Street. So this, all of this land belonging to the Crossleys, as did the area over there that is known as Park Dean, which I'm sort of reliably told is another type of landform. So as you can see from here onwards, a very built up area with wonderful Victorian houses. So I'm just a little bit further up now. I don't know whether you can make that sign out that says Craven Terrace. So no doubt this all belonged to the Craven family. So as you can see, it goes right through, and then this is the other side of Frank Street, but I think in the community it's all known as Craven Terrace. So really large Victorian houses, and again on the right hand side you see a number of terraced houses. So I am going to go further up, so I apologize that the video is going to be the longest ever, but I do want to go right to the top of Hopwood Lane. So hopefully you've recognized the area that's further up where the traffic lights are. If you haven't, then that is Queen's Road, and that's where I'll be stopping next. So I'm now on the corner of Hopwood Lane and Queen's Road. So Hopwood Lane extends further up that way for about half a mile, and we will be going right to the top. So I'm sorry if I've made the video a bit long today, but I want to cover all of the area. So on this side, the Queen's Road goes right to the end to meet King Cross, and then obviously the carriageway. And we have made this journey before. So it starts at Pelham Lane on that side, coming through all of the lanes, Hanson Lane. Then the traffic lights you see there are Gibbet Street. So this is Hopwood Lane's junction, and as I illustrated, there's lots of population to the left and right. Then it starts to be a little bit industrial here, which I'll explain when I'm further. It's not actually industrial, it used to be another use, but there is an electrical station and some properties there. Then a little bit of population, and then a big industrial estate over there. On this side of the junction you see this splendid building here. So in my time it used to be known as Victoria House, and that again, I know that as a constitutional club. There used to be a lot of constitutional clubs. I think that was also a conservative club, I'm not sure, but it's used by the masjid now anyway. So I'm going to stop a little bit further and show you the use that that area used to be. Okay viewers, I've walked from the junction down there to up here, so I'm just stopped at this point to show you this well, I think it's a wonderful building, and it's always been a manufacturing complex. It used to be Macintoshes, then Roundtrees and various names, and now it is known as Mcvities. I don't know whether you can read the sign over there. It's called Mcvities Cakes. So they produce various Mcvities products. So as well as that, I really wanted to show you this area here. So you can see it painted in blue on that side, and then on this side it is rather rustic, and behind this, although it looks very wild down there, there are some allotments down there. So what this is if you remember, in one of my previous videos we were on the car park of Tesco's, and I told you that there used to be a railway station in that area. Well, this is where it started. So underneath this road there used to be a bridge, and so we are going a very, very long time back to around about the 1840s. So this was the sort of the top of the bridge, as was this side, and underneath these growths there were railway tracks. But on the other side, which we can't see at the present moment now, there is a large housing estate. So the trains came from that direction, which of course is the Pelham Lane area, and before that is the Ovenden. Okay, so there used to be properties on here, and I guess for the same reason that they knocked our Villiers Street down, there were very old houses on here. This is called West View, but this was called Vickerman Street. So from here you can see, I guess, how large the area was. You still can't see the houses, but they are in that direction. And further in that direction, of course, is Parkinson Lane, and then King Cross. Okay viewers, so we're going to go further up Hopwood Lane because there are other significant buildings. Okay viewers, I'm a little bit further up. So previously I was just below where that car is, showing you the Victorian Street allotment. So where I am now is actually the corner of West Home Road. So if you remember in the previous videos, I was trying to show you that complex over there, which belongs to the Butler Machine Tools company. Beyond that is Thrum Hall. So where you can see that final car, that is Gibbet Street, and further on is Thrum Hall. So the other reason why I've stopped here is to show you the other landmark, which of course is a little bit further over there. We can see it from here as well. So this is the other landmark that I wanted to show you, viewers. So as you can see, it's another masjid, an Al Hadith masjid in these splendid grounds. So they have this area and it extends right back over there. I think they've started a school as well. So what you see next to it is a vast array of industrial units that used to be very large engineering companies. I know a German company called Holst was there. So we are almost at the end of the journey, viewers, but I do want to go inside this area and to show you what's inside. So we're about 700 yards from the top up of Hopwood Lane. So I've come further up from where I was before, viewers. So as you can see, this is the King Cross Social Club, or as it used to be known in my days, King Cross Cricket Club. And this is I used to be a cricket enthusiast, so this is where I came to play when I was I think I was about 16 or 17, and then of course after that I went to university. So as you can see, there is some activity going on. This looks like a rugby match, but I'll go inside just to show you. And on the other side of this there is the reservoir that I tried to highlight when I was on Gibbet Street. So this is the King Cross Cricket Club as it used to be in my days, and as you can see, it's now used for other facilities. They play football and rugby, and what you see in the background there of course is a scoreboard, and there used to be some seating over there. And what that illustrates is at one time this actually was used by Yorkshire Cricket a long time ago. I think it goes back to the 20s. So in my time all this was a grassed area as well, but it has since been developed. So what you see in the background there is the reservoir that I was talking about. So as you can see, a wonderful facility for the community, and I used to come here in my youth. So on the other side of this reservoir, as I say, is Gibbet Street. So it extends from here to Gibbet Street, which is a distance of about 300 meters. So I've come a little bit further now, viewers. The road that you see here is Gibraltar Road, which is the road that we approached from Gibbet Street. If you remember, at the end of this road and going towards Springhall Lane was the Halifax Academy, and of course in the middle of this street I showed you the beautiful masjid belonging by Ustad Zair Iqbal Sab Ghaussia Nuraniya. And Gibraltar Road goes on to the other side, right through there, and as you can see we are reaching the top of Hopwood Lane. So from there right down to, well, quite a number of streets that way, you've got residential housing, and on the other side of this, of course, is Parkinson Lane. So I am now at the top of Hopwood Lane, viewers. So where that young man is walking, that's where I was previously, or where that car is turning, that is Gibraltar Road. So as you can see, it comes right up to here, and at the top we have these splendid cottages, and this area is also known as West End, and to that end we have a beautiful park over there called the West End Park. I was hoping to do that as well today, but I think I've made the video rather too long, but I have managed to capture all of the things that I wanted to capture. So as you can see, there's a road here that goes, if I go a bit further to the left and right, I actually need to cross the road. So as you can see, it comes from there and it goes all the way down there. This of course is Warley Road. It starts on Gibbet Street on that side, and then we have the park in the middle, and if we carry on you will see Warley Road Primary School and the rest of our area, as it were. So I have one more sort of major road to cover, and then we will be into what I call the rural areas. So I do hope you've enjoyed today's rather lengthy journey, but I wanted to cover all of my area, as it were, from the bottom up to the top. So this road is called Hopwood Lane, and it extends for about 2 miles. So that is the end of today's video. Please do subscribe, like and share my videos, and until the next time I will bid you farewell. I will say, look after each other, look after others. Allah Hafiz. Goodbye.